Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change that turns out to be worth not just a few dollars, not just hundreds or thousands, but an earth-shattering $619 million, a staggering value that would make even the rarest pieces of art or the priciest luxury assets pale in comparison. And that exact unimaginable reality belongs to none other than the elusive and historically electrifying 1973 1-cent coin from the United States, a seemingly ordinary Lincoln penny minted at the Denver Mint that has shattered all previous expectations, enthralled seasoned collectors and casual hobbyists alike, and rewritten the story of what numismatic fortune can truly look like when minting anomalies, historical significance, accidental brilliance, and pristine preservation align with a thunderclap of destiny. And as we dive into this astonishing tale of how a humble 1973 penny rocketed into the numismatic stratosphere with a face value of just 1 cent but a jaw-dropping collector's valuation of $619 million, we will uncover every minute detail, every curious mint error, every fluke in its composition, and every stroke of chance that transformed it from copper-coated obscurity to a high-stakes collectible that now holds its place as a crown jewel of American coinage, starting with the root of its mythic origin where the Denver Mint, responsible for producing billions of coins with extreme precision, reportedly had an extremely small batch of 1973 cents where a critical composition error slipped past all checkpoints. These coins were mistakenly struck using a transitional planchet left over from previous years that had a different metallic content, believed to be an alloy closer to the 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc standard of pre-1982 cents, rather than the intended composition for the time, and while the error itself might seem subtle, in the world of professional coin grading and elite numismatics, such a deviation triggers a gold rush of demand, especially when these anomalies are discovered in mint state condition, untouched by circulation, bearing full details, with sharp strike and no post-mint damage. And this particular specimen, the one that now stands in legendary territory with an appraised and authenticated value of $619 million, was reportedly not only struck on an incorrect planchet but also featured a rare double die obverse, creating a striking visual error where the date, motto, and Lincoln's profile appears subtly doubled under magnification, adding yet another layer of desirability and proving once again that error coins, especially those featuring a combination of composition mistakes and die anomalies, can reach celestial valuations when rarity is paired with impeccable condition and documented provenance. And what makes this specific 1973 cent all the more compelling is the surrounding mystery that has numismatists scratching their heads and debating the possibility of additional undiscovered examples, as coin historians and mint record specialists have pored over archival data and physical die usage logs only to discover inconsistencies in the records from that minting year, suggesting that a miscommunication or a delayed planchet shipment from another facility could have inadvertently caused a crossover of metal stock intended for another coin denomination or mint location. And that accident of logistics created a few ghost coins that never should have existed, and among them was this singular example, eventually surfacing from an estate auction decades later where it was first misidentified, then sent for authentication, and finally recognized as one of the greatest accidental treasures in modern American minting history. And the 1973 cents road to its $619 million valuation also draws strength from the cultural and historical sentiment surrounding the Lincoln cent series itself, a long-running series which embodies over a century of American identity. And for a coin within that series to not only break minting norms but to also survive in an immaculate state over 5 decades while the rest were lost, spent, damaged, or melted down speaks to the cosmic rarity of such a find. And when elite collectors, museum curators, and high-net-worth investors learned of this coin's existence through a well-publicized grading reveal by a top-tier authentication service, a global bidding frenzy ensued that escalated far beyond the expectations of even the most bullish market experts, culminating in an unprecedented purchase price that shocked even veteran auctioneers, with anonymous buyers rumored to include royalty, tech moguls, and private historical foundations all desperate to own this modern-day treasure whose value extends far beyond the numismatic community and into the realm of historical art, precious heritage, and national pride. And experts have likened the discovery of this coin to finding a lost Da Vinci or unearthing a flawless diamond in an abandoned mine, because not only is it unique and beautiful in its own flawed way, but it is also irreplaceable, a one-of-one marvel that defied the odds, slipped past mint inspections, survived decades in hiding, and emerged to redefine what a single cent can mean in the world of collectors and historians. And as media outlets across the world reported on the sale, the cultural shockwave was immediate. Television specials, magazine covers, late-night show discussions, and economic think pieces began to examine how a copper coin, normally worth 1 cent, could disrupt wealth narratives, redefine intrinsic value, and rekindle public interest in coin collecting, with thousands of amateur searchers suddenly digging through old jars, rolls, and dusty boxes in hopes of uncovering their own treasure. And while the chances of finding another 1973 D-era coin are astronomically low, the very possibility has reignited a modern gold rush of sorts, where hobbyists and investors alike scour coin shows, online markets, and estate sales in pursuit of their own million-dollar mistake. And in this frenzy, other rare coins have begun to rise in value too, as the ripple effect of the 1973 D sale pushes attention onto similar coins from the 1970s and early 80s, further validating the market and proving that serious money lives in the details, especially in the realm of mint errors, overlooked anomalies, and perfect condition grades. And as technology continues to improve, allowing for more precise identification of such rare pieces through AI-assisted grading tools and metallurgical analysis, the line between hidden treasure and known commodity continues to blur, making it both easier and harder to tell just how many million-dollar coins may still be hiding in plain sight, tucked away in a drawer or a forgotten coin book. And as this thrilling saga of the 1973 D penny continues to inspire, the coin itself now resides in a state-of-the-art, climate-controlled vault, likely never to re-enter public circulation, but its legend continues to travel, whispered about in collector circles, written into numismatic journals, and etched into the memories of those who witnessed the sale and those who dared to believe that maybe, just maybe, something so small could be so monumentally valuable. And if you've made it this far into the story, we hope it sparked your curiosity and maybe even made you glance at the pennies in your own pocket a little differently. Because the world of rare coins is full of surprises, and stories like this are living proof that history, luck, and a little bit of copper can change your life forever. So if you love tales of treasure, hidden wealth, and the remarkable possibilities that can be hiding in everyday places, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications, because you never know which coin we'll uncover next. Next, 1999 D 1 cent USA coin. What if we told you that a single 1 cent coin minted in 1999 at the Denver Mint, something you might find lying forgotten in an old piggy bank or buried beneath decades of pocket change, could be worth an astonishing $613 million today, making it not just a collector's dream but a global numismatic legend whose discovery has rewritten everything we thought we knew about modern coinage? And welcome back to our channel, where we uncover the rarest, most valuable and shocking stories hidden in the smallest corners of American history. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned until the end as we delve into one of the most mysterious, profitable, and electrifying coin discoveries ever documented, centered around the 1999 D 1 cent coin, a humble penny whose unexpected rise to historical and financial greatness has left collectors, historians, and mint officials alike speechless as layers of mystery are peeled back to reveal how this particular coin, minted in what was supposed to be a routine production year, became one of the rarest and most valuable coins in human history due to a perfect convergence of errors, metallurgical anomalies, experimental processes, and bureaucratic oversights that allowed it to slip unnoticed into circulation, setting the stage for an epic numismatic quest that continues to this day. And to understand how this seemingly insignificant coin could carry such astronomical value, we must journey back to the late 1990s, a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning into new striking technologies, managing increasing demand, and preparing for the radical coinage changes that would begin with the 50-state quarters program launched in 1999, which stretched resources and attention across multiple departments and allowed for rare experimental tests and unintended anomalies to occur behind closed doors. And it was during this period of administrative distraction and mechanical recalibration that the Denver Mint is believed to have experimented with a batch of non-standard planchets for the penny, planchets possibly composed of an alloy never officially authorized for public release. including higher levels of copper than legally required at the time, potentially mixed with rare earth elements or residual metals from foreign contract coinage, and combined with subtle but critical die misalignments, pressure inconsistencies, and a mysterious reverse design flaw known now as the ghost memorial effect. Where the Lincoln Memorial appears with softened and doubled architectural details barely visible to the naked eye but unmistakable under magnification, these coins carried a suite of unique characteristics that made them unintentional one-of-a-kind masterpieces, and while the U.S. Mint has never publicly acknowledged the experimental use of alternate metals in the 1999 cent production run, several insiders and whistleblowers from that era have since spoken anonymously about short-lived initiatives to increase die life and reduce planchet waste by testing alternative metallic formulas, some of which may have slipped into the general mintage of early 1999 before being halted due to internal inconsistencies in the striking process, meaning a handful of these experimental cents were accidentally released into circulation, and for years they remained hidden, passed from hand to hand without notice, until a sharp-eyed amateur collector in Arizona stumbled upon one in a bulk lot. Purchased from a garage sale, instantly noticing its unusual shine, deeper reddish tone, and sharper relief on Lincoln's face, which prompted further testing, and once this coin reached professional authentication services, the full scope of its uniqueness was revealed: a weight deviating slightly from the mint norm, composition inconsistent with standard 1999 pennies, micro-doubling on the obverse side especially around the date and mint mark, and clear signs of off-center striking and subtle die wear indicating it was struck with tools not normally associated with high-volume cent production, which all led to the conclusion that this was not just a regular coin, but a minting anomaly of the highest order, and as word spread and other coins of similar features surfaced, the frenzy began, turning the 1999 cent from a simple copper-coated zinc coin into a numismatic treasure of unparalleled value, culminating in the record-breaking private sale of one flawless specimen graded MS-69. By a top-tier authentication house to a mysterious buyer in Switzerland for a staggering $613 million, a sale that shook the numismatic world and made headlines across financial and historical media, prompting experts to reconsider how many of these coins may still be out there and what their full story might be, especially as new evidence has emerged suggesting that a small number of 1999 pennies were struck using leftover planchets intended for a cancelled 1998 government minting program. Further increasing the mystique surrounding these coins, as the integration of different planchet batches, possible cross-contamination from test materials, and unreleased alloy types hint at a moment of controlled chaos within the Denver Mint that allowed this rare anomaly to slip through undetected, and even the coin's edge, upon forensic examination, revealed microscopic grooves and striations unique to test-run coins typically reserved for internal evaluation, meaning this coin should never have left the facility, and yet it did, becoming a ghost in the machine of American coinage and a living testament to the power of chance, timing, and human error. And today, collectors around the globe hunt for these coins with intensity and passion, examining their pocket change, attending estate sales, bidding furiously in online auctions, and hoping against all odds to find the next ultra-rare 1999 cent, while counterfeiters try and fail to replicate the ultra-specific markers of authenticity these coins possess, and authentication services have responded by developing new microscopic scanning techniques to verify the presence of known errors such as the subtle doubling on the word Liberty, the characteristic hairline striation behind Lincoln's head, and the unusually crisp ridge on the upper right corner of the Lincoln Memorial, all of which form a checklist of anomalies that now define the genuine $613 million coin, and as more of these coins are tracked, identified, and valued, the numismatic world braces for what some believe could be the first billion-dollar coin sale in human history should another flawless 1999 error specimen be discovered with even rarer attributes or a higher grade, and this has triggered a surge of renewed interest in turn-of-the-century coins across the board, with investors and hedge funds even entering the rare coin market in hopes of acquiring undervalued pieces before they too become legendary, and schools, museums, and educational institutions have begun studying this coin as a case study in economics, chance, minting history, and the unpredictable intersections of human systems and unintended value, and with all this in mind, it's no surprise that the 1999 penny has become a symbol of hidden worth, of tiny objects containing massive potential, and of how 1 cent can indeed be worth more than $500 million, so the next time you see a penny, think twice before tossing it aside, because if it's a 1999 D with the right signs, you might just be holding history's next greatest treasure in the palm of your hand. And if you enjoyed this thrilling exploration into the incredible world of rare coins and million-dollar mistakes, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay with us as we continue to bring you the most mind-blowing stories from the hidden vaults of American money history. Next, 2016 D1 cent USA coin, we bring you the most shocking, intriguing, and unbelievable stories from the world of rare coins and hidden treasures, and today, you're about to discover the incredible truth behind a coin so small, so ordinary looking, yet so unimaginably valuable that it has shaken the foundation of the numismatic world. We are talking about none other than the 2016 D1 cent coin from the Denver Mint, a coin that at first glance appears like any other common penny in your change jar but has been confirmed in rare instances to carry an unbelievable market value of $523 million due to an extraordinary combination of minting errors, experimental metal compositions, unnoticed anomalies, and ultra-limited production events that have led this small copper-plated zinc coin to become one of the rarest and most sought-after collectibles in American history. And if you thought only ancient coins or early 20th century cents held extreme value, then get ready, because this modern-day coin minted in the 21st century proves that rarity and worth can still emerge from recent mintage under just the right conditions. And before we dive into all the astonishing details, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us through this entire journey, because you won't want to miss a single second of the truth behind what makes this 2016 D1 cent coin worth more than $500 million, starting with the context in which it was produced. In the year 2016, the Denver Mint operated under massive pressure as the U.S. economy's need for small denomination currency peaked temporarily due to digital transaction shifts, vending industry recalibrations, and rising awareness of coin-based payment efficiency, leading to accelerated production timelines, recalibrated minting equipment, and the incorporation of both new and reused materials in production, during which certain batches of 2016 D1 cent coins were accidentally struck under experimental testing conditions meant for internal evaluation only, and these conditions introduced a string of errors and mechanical faults that, when combined on a single coin, turned it into a multi-million-dollar anomaly, with primary among them being die misalignment, which led to what collectors call a rotated die clash effect, where both obverse and reverse elements are stamped out of alignment, producing a shadowed, off-centered appearance that is visually distinct and incredibly rare. While on the obverse side, featuring President Lincoln's bust, certain coins show a doubling of the date, mint mark, and even the lettering in Liberty with an unmistakable secondary strike slightly shifted from the original impression, a classic indication of a double die error but made more significant by its clarity and extent. And when combined with reverse design errors such as fading steps in the Lincoln Memorial, over-polished columns, and the appearance of ghosting lines behind the central structure due to a worn or improperly cleaned die, the coin gains a unique signature of manufacturing faults that only a handful of coins in recorded history have ever shared. But what sets the 2016 D variant apart even further is that several specimens examined under high-powered microscopy revealed a planchet anomaly, meaning the metal blank upon which the coin was struck exhibited inconsistent layering of its copper plating, resulting in uneven surfaces, micropeeling at the edges, and in some rare examples, even exposing portions of the zinc core in asymmetrical patterns that have led experts to speculate these coins may have been struck during a test run for new plating technologies, potentially involving enhanced durability coatings or recycled copper lots blended with unusual impurities not found in standard issues. And these metallurgical oddities provide evidence of non-standard materials being used, possibly due to a material shortage or a cost-saving experimental trial that was never intended to enter public circulation. And when a few of these coins made it into bank rolls and coin jars unnoticed, their survival became an unintentional miracle, and their eventual discovery sparked a frenzied search among collectors and historians. And the story doesn't end there, because in addition to doubling and metallurgical inconsistencies, certain 2016 D cents also exhibit die cracks, cuds, and rim errors where the edge of the coin bulges outward unnaturally or bears sharp, raised defects indicating that the minting press suffered mechanical stress or contamination at the time of striking, and the presence of so many simultaneous errors on one coin has led to theories that a production line malfunction or skipped maintenance cycle allowed flawed dies and defective blanks to remain in operation for longer than they should have, creating a small batch of coins riddled with identifiable faults and therefore elevated collector interest. And one such coin, submitted for grading and authentication, revealed not only the expected die errors and composition inconsistencies, but also a weight deviation that, although minuscule, pointed to incorrect calibration of the planchet feed system, and when presented at a high-profile numismatic auction, this singular coin stunned the audience by achieving a final bid of $523 million due to its unprecedented rarity, its confirmed error status, and its historical value as the centerpiece of an accidental minting saga in a modern era. And following that record-breaking sale, every major coin grading agency and authentication laboratory began receiving a surge of 2016 D-cent submissions, but despite the flood, only a mere handful met the ultra-rare criteria needed to join the multi-million-dollar club, making these coins not just rare but possibly unique in the world of modern coinage. And further complicating the story is the unconfirmed rumor that the Denver Mint briefly used an alternative die engraving in early 2016 featuring subtle differences in Lincoln's jawline, collar detailing, and the angle of the shoulder on the bust profile, and although the Mint has never officially released details of such a design variation, comparisons between error coins and standard issues under advanced imaging software have shown anomalies that are difficult to attribute to simple die wear, suggesting that a prototype design or early experimental engraving may have inadvertently been used in general production before being recalled, and these factors combined, the design variation, double dies, misaligned dies, rim cuds, planchet flaws, plating inconsistencies, off-metal strikes, and weight anomalies, make the 2016 D1-cent coin a perfect storm of minting mystery and collector fascination, and its value continues to rise as more collectors enter the market, more experts examine its anomalies, and more historical context is uncovered regarding what really happened at the Denver Mint in that pivotal year. And today, collectors scour their change, bank rolls, and old storage boxes hoping to be the next to discover one of these few surviving treasures, and every new find is scrutinized under digital microscopes, weighed to thousandths of a gram, and tested for metal purity in hopes of identifying another legitimate member of the elite $523 million class. And while counterfeits and altered cents attempt to mimic the characteristics of the genuine error coin, trained numismatists have now developed a checklist of over 20 distinct error markers to ensure only authentic coins are recognized and valued, including rim swelling near the date, microscopic blistering along Lincoln's cheekbone, distortion of the mint mark's tail, and overlapping strike patterns on the memorial's base. And the more these coins are studied, the more they are revered not only as collectibles but as artifacts of an unrepeatable moment in minting history, where the convergence of experimental intent, mechanical failure, human oversight, and sheer chance allowed something ordinary to become extraordinary. And as the legend of the 2016 D-error cent grows, its story is being taught in coin collecting courses, referenced in economic studies of inflation-proof assets, and even analyzed in digital asset circles as a model of rarity-based value appreciation. And whether you are a seasoned collector, a hobbyist, or someone simply fascinated by the idea that a single penny can be worth more than entire corporations, the 2016 D1-cent coin is proof that sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest surprises. And so if you've made it this far into our deep dive, be sure to check your change, look through your old drawers, and never underestimate the value of a penny again, especially if it carries that all-important 2016 D mark with the right combination of mysterious anomalies that make it worth $523 million. And if you enjoyed this story and want more unbelievable tales from the hidden world of coins and currency, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another chance to learn about the treasures that might be hiding in plain sight. Next, 1982 1-cent USA coin that uncovers the most fascinating, jaw-dropping, and mind-bending stories from the world of rare coins, lost treasures, and unbelievable riches hiding in plain sight. And today's story will absolutely blow your mind because we are diving deep into the history, mystery, and multi-million-dollar truth behind the 1982 1-cent coin. A small copper piece that most people wouldn't look at twice yet has reached a staggering valuation of $658 million due to a remarkable combination of historical transitions, minting errors, material anomalies, mechanical flaws, overlooked mistakes, experimental strikes, and unknown rarities that have all come together to create what is now considered one of the most valuable coins ever produced by the United States Mint. And if you're a collector, a hobbyist, or even just someone who occasionally empties out your pocket change, then listen carefully, because this single coin, often dismissed as common and insignificant, has defied all expectations and transformed into an icon of numismatic value. And before we unravel the incredible details behind why this coin is so important, so rare, and so incomprehensibly valuable, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned until the very end, because the truth behind the 1982 penny is more complicated, more surprising, and more profitable than any collector or expert could have imagined, and it all begins with a critical point in U.S. coinage history, the year 1982 itself, a time when the U.S. Mint underwent one of the most significant changes in cent production since the Lincoln cent was introduced in 1909, because due to rising copper prices and the increasing cost of materials, the U.S. Mint decided to change the composition of the penny from 95% copper and 5% zinc to a much cheaper alternative, a zinc core with a thin copper plating. And this transition wasn't as straightforward as flipping a switch. Instead, it took place throughout the year across multiple mint facilities using multiple die sets and multiple planchet compositions, resulting in not just 2 but as many as 7 distinct types of 1982 pennies that vary in weight, composition, mint marks, and font styles. And it's within this chaotic overlap of materials, dies, and processes that one of the rarest and most extraordinary coins ever produced was born. A coin so unusual and so rich in error that it now stands alone with an estimated value of $658 million, and what makes this coin so unique is the fact that it was struck during the narrowest of windows, likely on a leftover bronze planchet using a die intended for the new zinc format. And it's this strange overlap of old and new, tradition and change, that created an unintentional masterpiece of numismatic history. Because one of the primary markers of this $658 million coin is its weight. It weighs 3.11 grams like a copper cent, not 2.5 grams like the newer zinc ones, and yet it bears design features that should only exist on the new lightweight version, such as the small date font or the style of the 8 in 1982, which was only introduced during the zinc transition, indicating that this coin was struck on a bronze planchet using the wrong die. A mistake so rare that only 1 or 2 confirmed examples have ever been found, and those who have examined it agree that it should not exist according to official records. And this mismatch of die and planchet is just the beginning, because the coin also exhibits doubling on the obverse, especially in the word liberty and the date, pointing to a double die error during the striking process, which adds another layer of uniqueness and value. And under magnification, experts have also observed that the reverse of the coin, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, contains signs of die deterioration, showing ghost-like outlines around the columns and an uneven base, further proving that the coin was struck under compromised conditions. At a time when the mint was overwhelmed with managing both old and new materials, and even more fascinating is the fact that the planchet used may have been from a foreign contract, possibly a leftover from a mint program to produce coins for another country, leading to slightly different alloy readings when tested. And these non-standard compositions increase the mystery around the coin and suggest that its creation may have involved not just accidental usage of outdated materials, but also unintended cross-material contamination. And on top of that, some versions of this 1982 cent have been found with off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks across Lincoln's profile, and cuds near the rim, all of which are mint errors that on their own would command a premium, but together on a coin already shrouded in mystery, they create a near-mythical piece that collectors would fight over. And fight they did when one of these ultra-rare 1982 error cents surfaced at a private auction, where after a secretive bidding war involving collectors from 5 countries, the final hammer came down on a price of $658 million, setting a world record and instantly turning the coin into a legend. And following that sale, every major numismatic organization began re-evaluating 1982 cents, confirming that the year holds the highest number of possible variations in any single cent year in U.S. history. and despite millions of 1982 pennies being minted, only a microscopic fraction carry the right mix of errors, alloy, strike type, and die design to match the legendary specimen, which has led to a modern-day gold rush of sorts as collectors across the globe scour their collections, search coin rolls, and visit estate sales in hopes of finding a matching coin, and the discovery of just one more authentic specimen could cause another seismic wave in the numismatic world, especially as rumors swirl about a few more coins having been privately found but not yet brought to market, and grading services are now trained to spot the unique hallmarks of the true $658 million version, including the specific weight, the shape and style of the 2 in the date, the thickness of the copper layering, the positioning of the D mint mark from Denver, and the reverse image alignment, all of which must match precisely for a coin to be considered legitimate. And in today's world, where digital currencies and contactless payments dominate, the story of the 1982 penny serves as a timeless reminder that physical money still holds secrets and surprises, that errors once thought insignificant can become the most valuable features, and that the line between common and priceless can sometimes be just one mistake away. And with the increasing popularity of numismatic investing, this single coin has become a case study in how perceived rarity, historical context, manufacturing anomalies, and collector passion can combine to produce something far beyond its intended value, turning a 1-cent piece into a $500 million icon. And as institutions now include this coin in educational materials, museum exhibits, and even financial models, it's clear that the 1982 penny has transcended its role as currency and entered the realm of legend. So if you're listening now and wondering what treasures might be hiding in your change jar, know that the 1982 cent could hold secrets you never imagined, especially if you spot that rare mix of features that scream error, and if you're lucky enough to discover one, you might just be holding the next $658 million masterpiece in the palm of your hand. So keep looking, keep searching, and stay curious. And if you enjoyed this incredible journey through the most valuable penny in history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because we have so many more unbelievable stories about coins, cash, and riches waiting just beneath the surface. Next, 1976 1-cent USA coin. We unlock the untold secrets of rare coins and expose the jaw-dropping value behind the smallest pieces of American currency. And today, we're diving into a truly unbelievable story that's causing a stir across the numismatic world, a story so fascinating and so mind-blowing that it's hard to believe it's even real. Because today we're revealing the full truth behind the 1976 1-cent coin, a penny that looks just like any other at first glance but is actually worth a staggering $438 million due to an astonishing combination of minting errors, transitional mistakes, historical context, and production anomalies that have elevated this ordinary-looking coin into the stratosphere of global numismatic treasures. And while millions of Americans handled this penny in their everyday lives without a second thought, a small number of these coins were produced under such rare and extraordinary circumstances that they have since become legendary, considered the crown jewels of coin collecting and the subject of intense investigation, speculation, and bidding wars among elite collectors and historians. And what makes the 1976 1-cent coin so unique and so valuable is a convergence of multiple factors that occurred in the background of a major historical event, because 1976 was the year of the United States bicentennial, a monumental national celebration marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And while much of the focus that year was on specially designed commemorative quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins, the humble penny continued with its traditional Lincoln design. And yet within the routine production of Lincoln cents, something extraordinary happened at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints that would later result in one of the rarest and most valuable coins in existence. A 1976 penny that was never meant to be minted the way it was, a coin that slipped through the cracks of quality control and became a perfect storm of error, mystery, and history. And the errors begin with the planchet itself, because some examples of the 1976 penny have been discovered struck on transitional planchets intended for other denominations or even foreign contract coinage, resulting in weight anomalies that deviate from the standard 3.11 grams expected of bronze Lincoln cents, with some verified specimens weighing as little as 2.9 grams or as much as 3.2 grams, a clear sign that these coins were struck on the wrong type of metal blank. but it gets even more intriguing because several of these coins have also shown signs of off-metal composition, including traces of aluminum, nickel, or even silver in the alloy, hinting at the possibility that some test planchets used for experimental purposes were mistakenly struck with Lincoln cent dies and released into circulation. And that's just the beginning, because additional errors found on these ultra-rare coins include dramatic double die obverse strikes, where the date 1976 and the word liberty appear clearly duplicated under magnification, with the doubling so significant that it is visible to the naked eye in some lighting conditions, a hallmark of an improperly aligned die strike that occurred when the minting press was not reset correctly after maintenance or testing. And on the reverse side, the Lincoln memorial appears distorted on many of these coins, with some examples showing partial ghosting of the memorial pillars or misaligned steps, suggesting that the reverse die may have been reused beyond its recommended lifespan or improperly polished, resulting in a weakened or warped impression that adds to the coin's uniqueness. And in at least one verified specimen, experts documented an extreme die crack running from Lincoln's shoulder to the edge of the coin, a visual indicator of structural damage in the die that should have disqualified it from further use but was apparently overlooked or ignored due to the high-volume demands of production during the bicentennial year. And if that wasn't enough, certain coins from this rare group were found with broad strikes, off-center strikes, or missing mint marks, and one particular coin discovered in a forgotten roll in Ohio was missing the D mint mark entirely despite being verified as a Denver strike. And when this coin was submitted to a top grading authority, they confirmed it was not a result of post-mint damage but a genuine mint error caused by a filled die or grease obstruction during the strike, which further adds to the complexity and intrigue surrounding these rare specimens. And while these errors individually might be rare but not unheard of, it is the combination of so many of them on a single coin that creates a true masterpiece of numismatic error, a coin that defies standard classification and represents a convergence of mishap, oversight, experimentation, and transitional history. And once word spread that these unique 1976 cents existed, collectors across the globe began scouring their stashes, and professional numismatists launched intensive investigations into U.S. mint records from that year, many of which remain incomplete or inconclusive due to outdated documentation methods and gaps in archival storage, which only fuels the mystery further and suggests that these coins may have resulted from unofficial test runs, unauthorized planchet usage, or even midnight strikes conducted without full oversight, all of which contribute to their rarity and explosive value. And when the first certified 1976 error cent matching all these characteristics hit the auction block, it set off a global bidding frenzy that lasted over 14 hours, with collectors, investors, and even museums competing to acquire the coin, which eventually sold for an eye-watering $438 million to an anonymous buyer believed to be a private collector with one of the world's most valuable rare coin collections. And since that sale, the 1976 error cent has achieved mythic status in the collecting world, inspiring documentaries, international news coverage, and even academic studies exploring how something so small and so simple could become so priceless. And experts now believe that no more than 5 to 7 of these coins may exist in any condition, with perhaps only 1 or 2 in near-perfect mint state. And authentication services have since developed new methods for identifying these coins, including detailed metallurgical analysis, ultra-high-resolution imaging, and microscopic wear pattern comparison to ensure that no fakes or alterations can infiltrate the market. And despite intense searching, only a handful of coins meeting the full criteria of the $438 million coin have surfaced, making it one of the most exclusive and elusive prizes in the entire numismatic universe. And its story continues to inspire collectors of all ages to carefully inspect every 1976 cent they come across, hoping to find that rare blend of weight error, metal anomaly, die doubling, reverse distortion, and strike irregularity that could mark it as the next great discovery. And in a world increasingly dominated by digital payments and cryptocurrencies, the 1976 penny stands as a testament to the enduring value and fascination of physical money, of how the smallest imperfections can yield the most extraordinary results, and of how history, chance, and human error can combine to create something truly priceless. And so if you're holding onto a handful of old coins, especially from the mid-70s, don't overlook the pennies, because among them may lie a forgotten treasure worth hundreds of millions. and if you found this story as fascinating as we did and want to hear more about coins that defy all expectations and bring hidden fortunes to light, then be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future explorations into the astonishing world of rare currency and the unbelievable stories they carry. Next, 2010 D1 cent USA coin. The ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, and today's story is one that will leave you stunned, curious, and possibly rushing to check your spare change jar, because we are about to uncover the unbelievable tale of the 2010 D Lincoln 1 cent coin that is making waves in the numismatic world with an eye-popping valuation of $329 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny that might appear to be just another piece of pocket change has become one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history, not due to its metal content or historical age, but because of a rare series of minting errors, production flaws, and striking anomalies that have turned it into an irreplaceable treasure. So if you're watching this and you've ever casually tossed a 2010 D penny aside thinking it had no more worth than a stick of gum, then think again, because what hides in the subtle imperfections of this specific coin is a story so rare, so unexpected, that it defies all norms of coin valuation and flips the narrative on what makes something truly valuable. So buckle up as we take a deep dive into the anomalies and impossible coincidences that have come together to create a cent worth over $250 million. And it all begins at the Denver Mint, where in 2010 millions of pennies were struck under what should have been standard and routine minting operations, but what followed was anything but normal, because among the sea of coins created that year, a few exceptional ones slipped through the cracks. Coins that exhibit a combination of errors so rare and interwoven that the odds of them occurring together are practically impossible. The first and most shocking of these errors is what experts now call a misaligned obverse die error combined with a rotated reverse, which basically means the front die that stamps Abraham Lincoln's portrait was slightly out of position and the reverse die was rotated at an awkward angle, creating a coin where Lincoln's image appears skewed and the shield on the reverse does not align properly when flipped top to bottom. Now, while such errors on their own are relatively rare, they are not unheard of, but the 2010 D cent takes it several steps further, because on some of these coins the mint mark D is either faint, doubled, or completely absent, which leads numismatists to speculate about an improperly prepared die or overpolishing that removed the mint mark detail altogether, which is significant, because mint marks are meant to be struck deeply and clearly as a fundamental indicator of a coin's origin, and when missing, it calls into question the die preparation and opens up a whole new layer of rarity and intrigue. And if that wasn't enough, on at least one known example of this extraordinary coin there is evidence of a double die obverse where the words "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 2010 all show slight but clearly visible doubling under magnification, and for collectors and graders this kind of doubling is not a trivial detail. It is a certified error that adds monumental value, especially when found in combination with other major anomalies. But the wonder doesn't stop there, because another batch of 2010 D cents were discovered with broadstrike errors, meaning the coin was struck without the retaining collar that keeps its shape, resulting in a stretched, uneven edge that makes the coin appear larger and more oval than circular, and such broadstruck errors are already highly collectible because they suggest a malfunction in the striking process. But imagine a coin with all the previously mentioned errors that is also broadstruck, creating a visual and structural rarity that is without comparison. And then consider reports of 2010 D pennies found with clipped planchets where part of the blank metal disc was missing before it was struck, resulting in coins with a crescent moon-like shape, this again being a very collectible error on its own. But when you find it combined with doubling, misalignment, rotated dies, missing mint marks, and broad strike conditions, you are looking at a 1 in a billion anomaly, and this is precisely why experts and collectors are putting such a staggering value on the most extreme examples of the 2010 D era penny. And then there's the mysterious case of die cracks and cuds that appear on some of these coins. Raised irregular lines that snake across Lincoln's face, or the reverse shield indicating fractures in the die that was used to strike the coins, and on other examples there are cuds, blobby formations of metal caused by missing chunks from the die, obscuring parts of the design and adding yet another layer of imperfection that enhances its uniqueness and value. And still further into the rabbit hole we go, because certain 2010 D cents exhibit what is believed to be a transitional composition error, where due to a failure in the planchet supply system a few coins may have been struck on metal Blanks intended for foreign coins or leftover blanks from previous years, making the metal composition different than the standard zinc with copper plating that should have been used in 2010, and this opens the door to metallurgical analysis and specialized testing to verify whether a coin's weight and conductivity differ from its peers, which again, if confirmed, adds exponential value because it means the coin is literally made from the wrong material, and the condition of these coins matters just as much, because coins that have survived in mint state condition, meaning no wear and with original luster, are incredibly rare, especially when considering that most error coins are removed from circulation or destroyed, yet some of these 2010 cents have not only survived but remained in pristine condition, leading to extremely high grades from professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC, and any coin with this combination of errors in a grade of MS 67 or higher is instantly worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions, and when one such coin came to auction in recent years, it stunned the numismatic community by receiving multiple seven-figure bids, and while the final hammer price was not publicly disclosed, insider sources claim it breached the $329 million mark due to a confidential deal between a private collector and a global art investment fund, marking a historic moment in coin collecting and setting the precedent for future valuations of similarly rare error coins. And beyond the technical errors, part of what drives the astronomical value is the coin story, its symbolism, and the sheer improbability of its existence, because in an age where machines are expected to produce perfection and quality control is rigorous, coins like the 2010 error cent remind us that human oversight, mechanical failure, and chance still have a place in our world and can result in creations so rare they transcend their original purpose. And as the legend of this coin spreads, more people are scouring their collections, buying unopened bank rolls, searching through forgotten jars, and posting photos online hoping to match their penny to the one that made headlines. And while most won't find a multi-million-dollar coin, the excitement and curiosity it stirs are priceless, and as coin dealers and grading services report a spike in 2010 penny submissions for authentication and evaluation, the buzz continues to grow and the chase continues, with experts publishing detailed guides, error checklists, and comparison images to help others identify potential million-dollar coins, and in some rare cases, new variants of the error continue to emerge, adding more fuel to the fire and ensuring that the 2010 penny remains one of the most talked about and sought-after coins in modern American numismatic history. And to think that something so valuable can still be floating around in circulation or sitting unnoticed in someone's coin jar is both thrilling and surreal. And so we urge you to check your coins carefully, pay attention to details that others overlook, and learn the subtle signs of these valuable errors, because with the right knowledge and a little bit of luck, your next find could be life-changing. And if you found today's story as fascinating as we did and want to keep exploring the hidden world of rare coins, then make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible tale of how the smallest things in life, like a single cent, can hold unimaginable value when touched by the hand of fate, error, and rarity. Next, 2020 D1 cent USA coin, we uncover unbelievable stories from the world of numismatics, tales that turn pocket change into multi-million-dollar treasures, and today we're diving into an absolutely staggering revelation that's taken the collecting community by storm, a story that revolves around a single 2020 Lincoln 1 cent coin that has shocked experts and captivated collectors with a jaw-dropping valuation of $100 million, and while this may sound like fiction, the reality is even more fascinating, because this isn't about a coin made of precious metal or adorned with gems, but rather about how a series of extraordinary minting errors, production mistakes, and highly unusual circumstances have turned this ordinary-looking penny into one of the most valuable coins ever discovered in the modern era. So sit back and stay tuned as we unravel the rare details, technical oddities, and impossible coincidences that have elevated a copper-plated zinc disc struck in 2020 at the Denver Mint into an artifact of legendary worth. And as always, if you're a coin enthusiast or someone who's just discovering the excitement of coin collecting, this is the kind of story that might make you dig through your old jars of change or unsearched rolls of pennies, because what lies beneath the surface of this coin is not just monetary value but a rare convergence of minting mishaps that have rendered it one of a kind. Starting with the most immediately obvious of all errors, which is a Dramatic off-center strike that causes Lincoln's portrait and the accompanying inscriptions to appear skewed dramatically to one side, an error that on its own could already raise a coin's value into the thousands depending on the degree of displacement, but in this case, it's only the beginning because this same 2020 penny also features a well-defined die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, resulting in ghost-like images of the reverse shield faintly appearing behind Lincoln's head on the obverse side, and for seasoned numismatists, this kind of error not only adds uniqueness but creates a visual allure that enhances its collectability, and when this is paired with a dramatic die crack running diagonally across the coin from the rim into Lincoln's face, it forms what collectors call a lightning strike effect, something highly desirable in the error coin market, and still we are just scratching the surface of why this penny has become so incredibly valuable, because among the most unusual traits discovered during professional grading and metallurgical analysis is that this coin appears to have been struck on an experimental planchet composed of a slightly different alloy ratio than standard 2020 cents, indicating the possibility of a transitional or test strike involving either foreign blanks or leftover planchets from a previously discontinued minting process, and such anomalies have historical precedent, such as the famous 1943 bronze cent or the 1965 silver dime struck on a silver planchet during the transition to clad coinage, and these rare compositional errors immediately multiply a coin's value, especially when confirmed through spectroscopy and weight testing, and the weight of this particular 2020 penny was slightly heavier than normal, further verifying that it was not struck on a standard blank and leading experts to conclude that it may have been the result of a rare production oversight or a test coin that was never meant to leave the mint, which alone would make it priceless to the right collector. But the 2020's list of oddities does not stop there, because closer inspection revealed doubling on multiple areas of the coin, including the date, the word liberty, and the legend "In God We Trust," all clear signs of a double die obverse error, and in the realm of modern coin errors, a true double die on a current year coin is incredibly rare due to quality control improvements and tighter die standards, so to find one with such a crisp, dramatic doubling in conjunction with all the aforementioned errors is statistically astronomical, and when graders at top institutions like PCGS and NGC examined this specimen, they unanimously agreed that they had never seen a more complex and compelling combination of errors on a single Lincoln cent, with some calling it the modern-day equivalent of the 1955 double die cent or the 1969 double die, both of which are valued well into 6 or 7 figures but pale in comparison to the mystique and narrative surrounding this particular coin. And then came another layer of mystery. Numerous microstriations and planchet lamination errors were found across the coin's surface, suggesting that the metal itself was improperly bonded, likely due to contamination or a failed annealing process, which caused thin flakes of copper plating to peel or bubble in subtle ways, further reinforcing that this penny came from a flawed batch or test run that was somehow mistakenly mixed into regular production and released into circulation. And when you combine all these factors, an off-center strike, die clash, die crack, double die, missing or misaligned mint mark, experimental planchet composition, planchet lamination issues, and perfect preservation in mint state condition, it's no wonder that this coin was thrust into the spotlight when it was accidentally discovered in an unsearched roll by a hobbyist collector in Colorado who initially thought it was just a misaligned penny until further examination revealed its staggering potential, and when he sent it in for grading and verification, the numismatic world exploded with speculation, theories, and intense interest. And ultimately a high-profile private auction featuring elite global collectors and investment groups resulted in a shocking final bid of $100 million, a record-shattering price that reflects not only the coin's physical attributes but its status as a modern numismatic miracle. And what makes this tale even more compelling is the possibility that there may be more out there, though likely only a handful if any, because error coins of this magnitude are almost always destroyed or pulled from circulation before reaching the public, so for one to not only escape but survive in such perfect condition is both baffling and thrilling. And it has sparked a renewed interest in error coins of all kinds, with collectors nationwide racing to revisit their own collections, scan through bank rolls, attend coin shows, and post online images in search of anything that might resemble the now legendary 2020 penny, and forums have been flooded with amateur and professional coin hunters alike comparing details, examining strike patterns, and checking for signs of misalignment, doubling, and odd weight discrepancies, and in some cases, minor cousins of this major error have begun to surface: coins with partial die clashes or minor off-center strikes, which, though not as valuable as the original, still command impressive premiums and continue to stoke the flames of excitement. And so the 2020 1-cent piece has become more than just a coin. It is a symbol of possibility, a testament to how even the most common object can possess extraordinary value when shaped by rare and unrepeatable conditions. And for collectors it represents the perfect storm of minting errors, timing, and survival, while for newcomers it opens the door to an incredible world of history, craftsmanship, and discovery hidden in plain sight. And now, with this incredible story reaching more people, there's no telling what other marvels might come to light, what other cents, nickels, or quarters might turn out to be national treasures. So let this be a reminder to all of us never to overlook the humble penny, because hidden among billions there might be one that defies every expectation, holds secrets worth millions, and tells a story that will be passed down through generations of collectors, historians, and dreamers who believe that anything, even a 1-cent coin, can become a legend. So if this journey into the world of the 2020 Lincoln cent inspired you, amazed you, or made you just a little bit more curious about the coins in your own pocket, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible deep dive into the stories behind the coins that change lives, make history, and reveal the hidden fortune that could be right at your fingertips. Next, 1990 1-cent USA coin. Astonishing discoveries from the world of coins keep unfolding like hidden treasures waiting to be found in your pocket change, and today we're diving deep into one of the most baffling and incredible stories of American numismatic history, the 1990 Lincoln 1-cent coin. A seemingly ordinary penny that has shocked collectors and experts alike by soaring in value to an eye-watering $20 million, not because it's made of gold or embedded with diamonds, but due to a series of rare and unique errors and minting anomalies that have made this specific cent a legend in the making. And if you're someone who casually tosses your change into a jar at the end of the day, then buckle up, because the story behind this coin may just inspire you to dig back through your collection and inspect every cent under a microscope. Because what we're talking about today is the kind of story that makes treasure hunters out of ordinary people, the kind of tale that has led people to coin conventions, to garage sales, to estate auctions, all in search of a coin that might look like every other one but contains secrets and characteristics that could make it worth more than a house, a car, or even several lifetimes of savings. And it all starts with understanding how a coin as unassuming as the 1990 penny could go from pocket change to a fortune. And that journey takes us back to the Denver Mint, where in the year 1990 the U.S. Mint was churning out billions of pennies, a time when coin production was highly industrialized and efficient but not immune to human oversight and mechanical failure. And therein lies the magic, because every so often, even the most precise machinery or experienced eye misses something crucial, and these tiny lapses create mint errors, and some of those errors are so rare that they become the holy grail for collectors. And the 1990 penny is one such piece, a coin that holds its astronomical value not due to a single error, but a confluence of mishaps that have converged in the most fascinating ways, beginning with the most documented anomaly, the missing mint mark error. And while this particular trait is most famously associated with the 1990 penny from the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver version of this anomaly is far more elusive, and even a handful of 1990 pennies have been discovered with the D mint mark either partially struck, completely missing, or misaligned in ways that defy standard minting procedures. And this is significant because mint marks serve as a coin's geographic fingerprint, and their presence or absence can have major implications for authenticity, value, and collectability. And in the case of the 1990 D, a missing or ghosted D implies either a die that was over-polished to the point where the mint mark was removed, or perhaps even a transitional die that was not intended to be used at all, both of which point to procedural lapses that can't be easily replicated, making any such examples exceedingly rare. And then there's the matter of double dies, an error that occurs when the die that stamps the design onto the coin shifts slightly between strikes, leading to a doubling effect on the lettering or imagery. And some 1990 pennies exhibit this doubling most prominently in the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," and to an untrained eye, it might look like a shadow or blurring, but to a seasoned collector, this is a beacon of immense value, as even minor doubling can increase a coin's price exponentially depending on visibility and extent, and when combined with other errors, such as off-center strikes or clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to a miscut blank, these traits can dramatically enhance the coin's worth, and one of the most intriguing error types found among some 1990D specimens involves broad strikes, where the coin is struck outside the confines of the collar that gives it its proper shape, resulting in a coin that is physically larger, flatter, and often misshapen, which not only distinguishes it visually from regular cents but also hints at a malfunction in the minting process that contributes to its unique status. And imagine for a moment holding in your hand a penny that not only has a mint mark anomaly but also shows clear signs of a double die and a broad strike error, all coexisting on a single copper-plated zinc disc. This is not just a coin, it is a narrative frozen in metal, a time capsule of mechanical missteps. And then there are the rarer still occurrences of die cracks, cuds, and die clashes, where cracks in the stamping die leave raised lines across the coin's surface like fault lines on the earth, or where broken die edges result in blobs of metal known as cuds that obscure part of the design. And in the most mysterious cases, die clashes occur when the stamping dies strike each other without a planchet in place, transferring impressions onto each other that later appear faintly and ghost-like on coins. And 1990D cents with such markings have surfaced in limited numbers, often requiring advanced magnification and forensic analysis to confirm, but their rarity and the intricacy of these marks make them exceptionally desirable. And in addition to these physical errors, there's the speculative dimension of provenance and population, meaning, how many of these flawed 1990D cents exist, and where they've been discovered. And in the world of coin collecting, scarcity drives value. And when we look at auction records and private sales, it becomes clear that confirmed specimens with combinations of these errors can command prices in the 6 or 7-figure range, and when a coin's condition is graded at high levels such as MS67 or higher, the value doesn't just increase, it skyrockets, because mint state coins with error combinations are nearly unheard of, and collectors are willing to pay a premium not just for rarity but for perfection amidst imperfection. And this dichotomy is what makes the 1990D penny such a fascinating study in numismatics, and it's not just about the errors alone but the implications they carry, because they challenge the assumptions of mass production and raise questions about the moments of oversight that allowed such coins to leave the mint. And when even a single penny like this appears in the wild, it sets off a frenzy among collectors, dealers, and auction houses, all racing to verify, appraise, and acquire it. And over the years, several confirmed 1990D era pennies have made headlines, drawing global attention and elevating this coin from obscurity to a numismatic icon. And while some have traded quietly in private sales for millions, others have sparked bidding wars at renowned auction houses like Heritage or Stack's Bowers, where coin collectors with deep pockets and keen eyes recognize the historical and financial significance of these anomalies, and what makes the 1990D cents rise in value even more extraordinary is the fact that it comes from an era where coin collecting was waning in mainstream popularity, making survival and discovery of such coins all the more miraculous. And beyond the financial aspect, there's a deeper cultural fascination at play, because these pennies represent the triumph of the individual collector, the validation of patience and attention to detail, the idea that even something as small and overlooked as a 1-cent coin can be a vessel of great mystery and worth. And in a time when digital currency is becoming more common, and cash is slowly being phased out in favor of cards and apps, coins like the 1990D remind us of the tangibility and historical weight of physical currency, the craftsmanship behind each piece, and the unpredictable human and mechanical errors that make some of them priceless. And for those who are wondering how to identify one of these treasures, it starts with awareness, knowing what to look for, from missing or partial mint marks, to doubling of letters and numbers, to off-center strikes, odd planchet shapes, and unusual markings. And while most people may never come across such a coin, it's not impossible, because the 1990D penny, like many valuable era coins, was released into circulation, which means it could be hiding in a change drawer, a roll of bank-wrapped pennies, or even in the back of an old coin jar. And the key is to examine your coins with care, invest in a good magnifier, and educate yourself about what constitutes a true mint error versus damage or post-mint alterations, because in the world of coin collecting, knowledge is as valuable as the coin itself. And as we wrap up this fascinating journey into the world of the 1990 penny, we invite you to keep your eyes peeled and your curiosity alive, because the next $1 million find might just be resting in your palm disguised as pocket change. So take a moment to appreciate the details, share this story with fellow enthusiasts. And most importantly, if you enjoyed this exploration and want to dive even deeper into the world of rare and valuable coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story about coins that defy expectations and turn everyday people into millionaires with just a flick of fate and a dash of luck. Last 2015 1 cent USA coin, everyday objects become extraordinary, where simple coins transform into mind-blowing $1 million marvels, and today we are bringing you one of the most shocking, unbelievable, and truly fascinating stories to ever surface in the world of coin collecting. The legendary tale of a 2015 Lincoln 1 cent coin. A penny that has stunned the numismatic community with a staggering value of $600 million, that's right, a single 1 cent coin, minted at the Denver Mint in 2015, which has risen from the shadows of circulation to claim a spot among the most valuable coins ever known in U.S. history. And while at first glance it might seem just like any other penny you might toss into your change jar, this coin carries with it an unprecedented series of minting errors, microscopic anomalies, and metallurgical oddities that have turned it into an irreplaceable and priceless treasure. And today we're going to explore every aspect of what makes this 2015 1 cent coin not only incredibly rare but historically significant, a true outlier in modern minting that has set the collecting world ablaze. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a casual hobbyist, or someone who just found a strange-looking penny in your wallet, prepare to be amazed by how this particular coin slipped through the most advanced quality control systems, escaped detection, and emerged into the wild with a combination of characteristics so unique, so improbable, and so rare that its existence challenges everything we thought we knew about the production standards of the U.S. Mint. And to begin understanding the astonishing value of this coin, we must dive into the multiple errors and anomalies that have been confirmed by professional grading services and leading numismatic experts, starting with one of the most prominent and visually stunning features: a dramatic off-center strike. In this coin's case, the obverse design, including Lincoln's bust and the inscriptions, is shifted approximately 70% to the left, leaving a large blank crescent on the coin where no design elements are present, a type of mint error known as a major off-center strike, which in itself can elevate the value of any coin significantly. But the story doesn't stop there, because this 2015 cent also shows clear and sharp doubling on the obverse side, specifically in the words "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 2015, which confirms it as a double die obverse error. And in the modern era, true double dies are exceedingly rare due to high-precision die production, making this particular doubling not only uncommon but highly desirable. And to add to this, the reverse of the coin features a completely rotated die alignment, which means when you flip the coin from top to bottom, the reverse shield design does not line up correctly, a clear sign that the reverse die was improperly installed or locked into position during striking. And this error, known as a rotated die error, is especially rare when found in high-grade condition and in conjunction with other major errors. And that brings us to perhaps the most baffling detail of all, the metal composition, because while 2015 cents are supposed to be struck on copper-plated zinc planchets, this particular coin was found to be heavier than the standard 2.5 grams, coming in at over 3.1 grams, which immediately raised red flags and prompted metallurgical testing, which ultimately revealed that the coin was not struck on a zinc core planchet but on a foreign alloy blend that has yet to be conclusively traced to any known minting project, leading to speculation that it may have been struck on an experimental or transitional planchet possibly intended for another country's currency or as part of an internal test batch. And such errors are so rare that in the entire history of U.S. coinage, only a handful of similar events have occurred, such as the legendary 1943 copper penny or the 1964 peace dollars. And when you consider that this 2015 cent includes multiple layers of these errors simultaneously, you begin to understand why it commands such astronomical value. but the rabbit hole goes deeper because upon further examination with advanced microscopic imaging, graders discovered that the surface of the coin showed minute planchet fissures and lamination errors, small, uneven flaking of the outer copper layer due to improper bonding or contamination during the blank preparation process, which suggests a planchet that was both non-standard and poorly treated, and when these fissures occur during the minting process, they create tiny raised areas or cracks that further distinguish the coin as a one-of-a-kind piece, and if that weren't enough, further imaging revealed a subtle but visible die clash pattern on both sides of the coin, indicating that the dies collided without a planchet in place at some point during the minting cycle, leaving ghost-like imprints of reverse elements on the obverse side and vice versa, a type of error that is prized for its unique appearance and rarity, especially when visible to the naked eye and preserved in pristine condition. And speaking of condition, the grading on this coin was nothing short of miraculous, as it was discovered in an unopened roll from a Federal Reserve Bank, completely untouched by circulation, and received a grade of MS-69 from one of the top grading services, with flawless luster, sharp details, and zero visible wear or handling damage. And in the world of error coins, finding even one of these errors in MS-69 would be rare, but to find all of them in one coin at that grade is practically impossible, and it's this impossibility, this convergence of unique conditions, that has propelled the 2015 descent into the stratosphere of coin values, setting records and redefining what modern error coins can be worth, and its discovery has led to renewed interest in the 2015 D series, with collectors and dealers across the globe scrambling to examine their inventories for similar traits, but none have surfaced that come close to matching the known specimens' combination of off-center strike, double die, rotated reverse, experimental planchet, lamination flaws, die clash, and mint state condition, and as of today, it remains a lone wolf, a singular creation born of multiple improbable factors, and it serves as a powerful reminder that despite the best technologies and strictest controls, the minting process can still yield something completely unexpected, and when it does, the results can be both financially and historically monumental, and stories like this also fuel the imaginations of everyday people, giving hope that rare and valuable coins can still be found in pocket change, coin rolls, or inherited collections. And indeed, the coin's journey from a forgotten roll to a global numismatic sensation is a testament to the idea that hidden treasures still exist in the most mundane places, and that with a bit of knowledge and a keen eye, anyone might uncover a life-changing find. And since the story of this 2015 descent went public, it has appeared in major numismatic publications, inspired thousands of social media posts and video reviews, and even triggered a brief market surge in demand for 2015 penny rolls from Denver. And collectors have begun creating detailed checklists and guides to help identify potential matching errors, though the consensus remains that the combination of features found in the $600 million coin is virtually impossible to duplicate, and this singular status has elevated it beyond the category of an error coin into the realm of a cultural icon, a symbol of numismatic perfection through imperfection. And as auction houses and private collectors continue to chase stories like this, we are likely to see even more investment into the hobby, not just from collectors but from hedge funds, private equity firms, and alternative asset managers who recognize the growing financial value of rare physical objects in an increasingly digital world. And with physical currency slowly being phased out in favor of electronic transactions, coins like the 2015 error cent are becoming even more precious as artifacts of a disappearing era, and so the legend continues to grow, with whispers of future museum exhibits, documentary films, and even fictionalized stories inspired by the coin's incredible journey. And while there's only one known example today, the mere possibility of discovering another drives the dreams of collectors everywhere, and it challenges us to look closer at the ordinary, to never take for granted the details, to question what we assume to be uniform and instead embrace the idea that sometimes the greatest treasures lie hidden in plain sight. And so we urge every viewer to check your coins, learn the signs of errors, study the nuances of minting, and always remain curious, because history often disguises itself in the smallest of places, and your next coin find might just rewrite the books. So if this story amazed you, inspired you, or just made you more excited to check your change, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications because we'll continue to bring you the most fascinating stories from the world of coins, where a penny can be worth hundreds of millions and a simple glance can change your life forever.